Hi Tanmay and hi friends. Whenever there are,
Hi, Hari. How are you? How is everyone? Yeah,
thanks. Perfect. So good day to start. Good time to learn few prioritization techniques, right? Okay.
definitely.
So I'll
Yeah,
take
looking
2 minutes.
forward to the talk, man. Yes, go
Sure.
ahead, Hari.
I'll take 2 minutes to talk about the project that is started. So it started with a random activity to increase my own visibility in the industry. When I found some people to talk about their own experiences, so it evolved into a good project to learn and tell stories and express ourselves. So now I'm inviting people like myself in the industry to talk about their stories and tell their stories, and maybe we even learn skills like LNO, right? So I'll hand over to you, Tanmay. Before actually getting into LNO, I would request you to tell your product management journey in short. Would you like to take some time about that? Introduce
Yeah,
yourself.
sure, definitely,
Sure. Take your 5 minutes.
definitely. Thanks, Hari.
Sure.
Yeah, so I graduated in 21, right, from an Indian institute called IIT Kharagpur, and I joined a startup as a designer because I had a background in architecture, so I really wanted to get into the tech space, and design was something that was in my domain, that was in my expertise, right? So I joined the team as a product designer, the first product designer in the team, and then slowly transitioned into the product management role because the founders and I thought this role sounds more like me and goes more with my personality. So sort of transition slowly within the team to become a product management manager, right? And so yeah, I think that's how I got into the product, and it's been 3 years now almost. Yeah, to
Awesome.
lead the team.
So, what did you build, or maybe some quick stories like some experience you want to share, or some particular story you want to share, event
Yeah,
or
definitely.
happening?
Yeah, so we were started building with an education marketplace, sort of. Let's say you have a Flipkart, but for education space. So for tutoring, you have a Flipkart. So there's a tutor site and there's a
Right.
students or parents. Let's say parents or students who wants to get some tutoring for their education help or something to learn
Right.
extracurriculars, right? And then there is the tutors who are expert in this field and they want to teach. So we sort of were trying to build a marketplace where we connect both these parties, right? And
Interesting.
that's how the whole product began. It began in the peak of like COVID, right? Because
Hmm.
that was the time when everyone went online, and there was a huge gap in the market of offline
Right.
education, right?
Right.
So some people tried to break the whole thing and try to make something out of it, and
Right.
yeah, we hope to make stand to it, stand in our ground. Although like lockdown has been lifted, but still we see a strong presence, strong need for online tutoring because
Hmm.
people get easy access to global talent of experts and
Right.
in really a affordable manner. So that's what I've been building majorly, right? And in alongside of that, I have been building, some. I have worked with communities. I've worked with some crypto products when it was in the boom, right? And now we are building something on the side of AI as well.
Hmm.
So a side project which goes in the trend, and one big project which stays true to the journey or the goal that I want to be focused on. Yeah.
Sure.
Yep.
So, in short, I'll tell you one on add-on, right? The education technology, since you're working on this domain, I have this little knack of thinking into education technology because I recently became a father, and I back in
Congratulations.
2020 itself I worked with a small organization called Latto Kids. It was a Android app for early stage kids to learn the ABC and the 1, 2, 3 and the poems. That is where I was getting into structure of looking at my long term goals into product management. So that Latto Kids, right, became the key to my interest. And since then, I've been writing about what is that I want to envision into long-term vision of being into education technology, right? So I on the lines of already, I started writing like where do I want to see myself into 10 years down the line, and I started writing articles on the series in a series format. So it's a sequel by sequel. I wrote 10 articles by now. First few were like why I want to be build into education technology, why I want to be what is that I want to build into education technology. Then it came down to very carefully about conversations, right? One because each everything is like our day to day conversations. It can be about product management, it can be about education technology. And when I'm a father, I need to be very careful about each and every word I talk to my child. So this is where the conversations, the theories of conversations are coming into play. Now I need to be understanding of whatever she even thinks about, whatever she expects, or whatever I want to teach her also, right? So this is like going into a very different direction. But yeah, this is my area of interest now. I hope to build an AI machine someday in near future where the let's say I'm the parent. I will have the aspirational child, virtual child, virtual friend of my child, that my child will learn from the virtual child. So I will program the virtual, let's say the mini. I called it mini, right? So I will program the mini the way I want to train my child. Now this will be like a friend to who will aspire to learn from each other, right? That's how I envision it. But okay, let's see how it goes. So let's come to the agenda. Let's talk about LNO maybe, right? Or you would want to take the lead and structure the conversation from here?
Sure.
Sure,
Fascinating to hear that. Very,
sure.
all your thoughts about it. Okay, let's jump to it. But before jumping into it, let's set some context, right? Why are we
Yeah,
talking about LNO and why should we even
right.
bother, discussing about it?
Yeah.
Or anyone listening, why do you even care about frameworks, right? I think we all agree as a product manager, you are involved with a lot of stakeholders day to day,
Right.
week to week, right? And you have to deliver some items to everyone, and
Hmm.
everyone is waiting to get a message from you. Correct? That
Right.
hey Hari, can you send this file to me or send that file to me? And it can be overwhelming, and it
Right.
is overwhelming. It can be no, it is overwhelming for most of
Right.
us, right? So I think prioritization of what your day-to-day tasks are, or let's say in a span of week, what are the things that you need to complete? That
Hmm.
should be a very high priority for anyone working in this. If you really want to excel, right, you really need to prioritize how you are spending your time. Correct.
Hmm. Correct.
So that's why I think you're talking about your task list, how to
Hmm.
manage it, and
Hmm.
how to even give your mind space to it.
Hmm.
That becomes very crucial. Correct. And do you want to add something here?
Yeah, I would like to actually discuss this in detail. So, but give me 1 minute. I will, I think, change my position from this environment to something else, maybe.
Okay, sure.
1 second. No. So I will shift my position from this seat to other seat in other room. I will take 1 minute to go there, but I think I will be able to talk in between, right? So
No
um,
problem.
we are basically talking about importance of prioritization, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Right. So in this point of importance of prioritization, let's say what are how do people actually think of doing it, and what are the common mistakes people make while actually prioritizing? Do you have some thoughts around that?
So I think, see, there are two kinds of prioritization that a product manager needs to do. And it's keeping the topics mostly around revolving around product managers only, right?
Hmm.
That you have a long-term vision about your product, right? that you need to discuss with your founders, with your executive members, whoever, that what are the things that we need to build. That is a separate part. And then there comes to the day-to-day activities, that what you need to achieve that bigger goal that will be giving some results in a quarter or in half a year. Correct. So I think that's why thinking about not just the short term but also long term, like it needs to go hand in hand. And people might be doing a very good job at the the quarter planning or yearly planning thing, because there could be some structures and guidelines that are set by set by theories, product management theories, right? But I think there's not much discussion going on around how to manage your day-to-day activities, and that's where the trouble began, right? If you are not satisfied with your day-to-day work, it's hard to sometimes see the bigger picture.
Hmm.
Do you agree with that?
I totally agree with that. And being a product manager, right? I understand it's almost like a CEO, though there's a debate on that. But if we don't prioritize, everything goes into a mess.
Correct.
And let me tell you a short again story. So I recently actually, in 2 days ago, I realized in my 13 years of career, I worked with 9 organizations, actually 10 organizations, out of which nine, basically 90% were startups, which is like a big number. Okay. And out of that nine, six, three and three, yeah, six all actually failed. So that actually goes into prioritization of a lot of things because um, it failed. Of course, a lot of things were not prioritized as they should have been, right? Um, Out of these six which failed, three were my own. So I was the beginner out of college where I was experimenting back in 2012. So it was a time where people were not aware of what is a startup. I was not aware of what is business. I was a technology person. I was working with someone as a technology person. I was experimenting with ideas. Then it was like they had to leave due to family reasons. I was like, I don't know where my startup will go now. I don't know. I'm a technology person only. I shut it down. I joined somebody. After a few months, they shut down the company. I was like, okay. The third experiment, I was like, let me try it one more time before I quit experimenting with my startup ideas. And it did not come out to be because again, being I can agree today that if I have to analyze, I failed at selling, business, marketing, everything. I was good at tech part only at that moment. So I wasn't aware. I was really bad at prioritizing. I can say very clearly today, right? The three startups, others that failed, they gave me a chance to begin in my career into product management. But of course, their prioritization had their own gaps. So, um, and I don't know if I could have done something to survive from there also, right? The prioritization is it's basically a founder thing, right? When they decide the venture will go in X direction, nobody else can decide to move into Y. That's almost the case, right? So, um, and when we talk about to-do list, right? There is a to-do list every day. There's a backlog. There's a pressure to show results, right? So let's talk about this LNO, right? Leverage and what is that? Neutral tasks. We try to understand. It's like if you don't actually look into the details, what general human feels like every task is the same. That's what it feels like. Now I will try to give every all the importance to all the tasks. I will try to do all the of them in a way that I would do my best. But that's what we learned from this concept, right? And if I understand, was this LNO invented by Shares itself? I don't know.
I'm not sure, because he didn't say like that in his
uh,
interviews as well, that he invented it. But that's the term, and that's the term that is popularized by him, at least.
right,
So
right.
that's
Yes,
what we are telling
that's
him.
what we will take, right?
Yeah,
So
can't say.
um, now if I say I have not been through LNO, right? um, though I've read it since last couple of years from of course shares threads and videos, but I believe that is something that adds most value about, prioritizing, where I actually not used it. And since you said, I've been using it since some time, I actually wanted to get you on stage and maybe actually learn from you itself, right? um, how I have been prioritizing my tasks, I would not be able to explain in depth, in very clearly, as LNO is, right? I can say, I try to look at which task is most valuable, which is most not useful, right? Some of the tasks never end up getting done, right? When we find something more useful, when and we if I find something more useful in, let's say interesting in the first one takes so much time, the second one doesn't get started. It usually happens like that also. So I have this theory, when we can find everything interesting if we care about it enough. It's as simple as that. If I care about this conversation, I can try to get into the depth of everything, understanding of, one concept, and debating about it, actually talking about my to-do list. So if possible, let's see at the end of the conversation itself, right? Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Hari. I think you have brought a really good point here that everyone thinks um, all tasks are equal, right?
Right.
That's the first thing that clicked to me. And second thing was if we care about it, it is important, right?
Right.
Right. But there's another layer to it when we
Hmm.
are talking about it. So the first thing is that, and that's how the origin of LNO framework begins, right?
Hmm.
That not every uh, task is equal. That's how we are
Right.
thinking. Not
Right.
everything is equal. Not
Hmm.
everything deserves to be given equal priorities or equal
Right.
attention. Correct. And the second point that you're mentioning, that if it is important, if you care about it, you will get it done.
Hmm.
So the thing is, in product management, I believe that it's possible you like something, but it doesn't mean the company requires that right now.
Hmm.
Correct?
Right.
If
Makes
you
sense.
get what I mean, right? Yeah, you might be passionate about a particular feature, but you know down the line that feature got deprioritized and it's sitting in the backlog for 6 months. But you are really excited for it. But so I think when companies are involved, when money is involved, people really don't care about our feelings. It's
Hmm.
it all ends about what users want at that point and what the business wants at that
Right.
point. So I think that's how we should think about it as well. This is not my task list, my personal thing. It's a
Hmm.
company's thing. It's
Yeah.
what the users want and what the business want. So I can't let my feelings drive it. Correct? I can't let my feelings drive the to-do list. And
Hmm.
I think that's a very good point to start talking about the LNO concept.
Right.
Um, you know, so should we just jump right into it?
Again, I'm getting into this mode of telling stories about how I feel about, and how I lost actually to make use of something, right? So I'll add one more story in short, that recently it happened. I was building a product, an Android app, where it was meant to be a Android keyboard, right? For Tamil users. So it was basically a Tamil keyboard, being launched by the company. I was like, let me try to learn Tamil also, because if I have to build it for long term, I will try to understand what people are facing, problem issues, right? What is Tamil? If I'm able to type it or not, like things like that. But that was not really the priority of the company, right? The team was like, dude, you don't need to learn Tamil. We have done 5 languages and we don't know most of them. I was in a shock. I was like, okay, maybe that is the reason you are not doing it very well and the best in the industry. So I still kept that one corner of my brain ready to learn Tamil. I kept learning Tamil. And after a few months, they decided to pull the plug. And it just did not go anywhere. And I was thinking of 5 years down the line, where like this is where I want to go. I kept on telling people that we need to learn Tamil to understand the nuances of the problem. It did not, my priorities were like maybe not really matching with their priorities. So yeah, stories. That's me.
Yeah, no, it sucks, man. I've been through these phases, and it really sucks. But sometimes can't help it, right?
Yeah.
It's an organization thing, and lot of factors dive in, not just our things.
Yeah.
Right. So,
So yeah,
yeah.
please let's dive in. Then I
Yeah.
will be
So, okay.
able to ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah, sure. So, when you're talking about LNO, if we just take a normal task list, right? You have task A, B, C, D. Now, there's one metric that people use generally is like what's the effort versus value
Hmm.
metrics, right? Out of it, like if I'm putting 1 hour of work, how much value will the company get, or how much value this particular work is going to give to the whole company, let's say, right? But if this metrics is good, works sometimes. But the issue is that as a product manager, if you are not contributing right to the fullest of your own capability, then it doesn't make sense, right? For example, let's say the value right now is to give a helping hand to the development. For example, let's take
Right,
a
right.
situation, right? So the company says, if we get another developer in our team, this that's the biggest priority right now,
Hmm.
right? So instead of doing what you are doing, let's assume that I'm not good at development. I will jump to the development team saying, "Hey, I'll help you out," but
Hmm.
that's not my strong suit. And
Right.
I'm still, trying to help the team, but actually, I am just increasing their overhead, the existing team's overhead, because
Hmm.
I'm really not doing much
Right.
out there, right? So they here the value versus effort thing goes for a toss.
Hmm.
Correct.
Hmm.
So one needs to understand that what you really good at, and then work on those front. And that's
Hmm.
how LNO framework works really well for
Hmm.
people who really knows that you I'm this kind of person. These are my strong suits. So if I bring this kind of activities to the team, that will be the most beneficial to the team.
Right.
Correct. Hari, you said like that you are strong in the development front, right? You are a technical person.
Hmm.
So let's say, and in our conversation, let's say I am more into the design stuff.
Hmm.
Correct. My strong suit is design, whereas your strong suit is in the development.
Right.
Now, if something occurs, let's say in the analytics front of the product, and the
Hmm.
team doesn't have a good analytical person, who will
Right.
be the best product manager to help out the team? Will it be me or will it be you?
That's a very incomplete question, I would say.
Okay, let's say you need to instrument some analytical parameters. The team have
Right.
come up with some kind of metrics,
Hmm.
OKRs, right? That the team needs to implement in their analytics tool. Let's say Google
Right.
Analytics.
Good question.
Okay. Now let's
Hmm.
be more specific if that
Hmm.
feels incomplete. Now, who will be the best person? I know some analytics, I know
Right.
some development, but you are much better than me
Of
in
course.
terms of the product management team.
Right.
Correct. So,
Right.
who will be the best person to guide the team?
So of course, the one who understands the code.
Right? Someone who understands, and that will be
Right.
you.
Right.
So, we both have the same to-do list, let's say, but still, it will be beneficial for the company that you go ahead
Right.
and I take on some other thing, right?
Right.
So if I get a job where I need to fix analytics, right,
Hmm. Hmm.
and in the same kind of urgency, I need to fix something in the Figma file of the company,
Right.
right? Which one I will pick at first?
Of course. Makes
I
sense.
will pick
You.
the Figma part, provided the urgency is same in
Right.
both of the things, right?
Right.
So that's where LNO framework works. That you need to understand where you are creating a leverage in the company,
Hmm.
right? The tasks could be urgent, the tasks could be taking the same amount of work, 1 hour for each of them, but still, you need, if you are good at design, you go into design.
Hmm.
So when you are picking that task and you are leveraging for the team to the 10x part, that's how the framework works. That at first pick out the task that give 10x result to the company,
Hmm.
then pick out the task that takes 1x
Hmm.
1x impact, and then take the some backlog items which you need to do, but
Overhead.
overhead. That's what we call overhead. So you have leverage, you have neutral, and then you have overhead task, right?
Sure.
So that's how it's best to um, come up with
Divide
your task. Yeah,
divide the to-do list into three categories,
divide
right?
the to-do list. And then when you have the leverage task, then you can choose based on effort and the urgency. That this will take just 5 minutes. Let me get it done. or this will take 2 hours, let's do it later. For example, like that is an effort based one.
Right.
But still, at the end of the day, when you log out of that day, the
Hmm.
team won't be there. Won't be five people who will be jumping on your DMs like, "Hey, where is the dog that I asked for?" Because
Right.
you knew the priority was three items, and people were looking forward to
Right.
your deliverables. So then you will be at least sleeping a bit happier, right? That you did something for the day.
Right.
So, so I think that's what the LNO framework is in general.
Okay. So let me try to describe again what do I understand, right? I have
Sure.
a to-do list of 10 items, right? To actually prioritize it and to understand the details, I need to divide that into categories. LNO. L is leverage based tasks where I believe the I can add 10x value to the task, or let's say the task will be 10x more useful than the other tasks. That's one leverage based task. Second is neutral task, which is that needs to be get done and immediately, and they are necessary to be done. That's kind of, and we so how do we understand the time required for neutral tasks? Do you have some understanding about that?
Hmm.
It can be
So,
anything. So it can take a long or short time also, right?
right. I think it doesn't. So when we're talking about neutral task, which is like 60 to 70% of our daily task, I'll say. I mean, in
Hmm.
my experience of what I have been prioritizing, 60 to 70% works are neutral tasks for me at least. I'm not
Hmm.
sure about others. So and it's very easy to think that this neutral task will go to the upper starter, that is
Right.
leverage task. Like, oh,
Okay.
this will create impact, but actually it's just a neutral task, 1 to 1.5x. That's
Hmm.
all, right? So, yeah, you had a
And there's
question?
an overhead category where we can try to delegate also.
Yes, yes. I was coming to that, right?
Hmm.
It's possible that you can't delegate some stuff, but cleaning up your backlog item, for example, or cleaning up the grammatical errors on particular section of a doc. These are all overhead tasks,
Hmm.
right? That it's necessary, but it won't be really creating a big difference in the company, right? So you still need to get it done. It's possible, if possible, delegate it. That's good. But
Right.
then you need to be thinking about others as well. So not the best thing to do. But yeah, sometimes it's
I think
possible to
I
delegate.
think I read it in some post from some experts also recently that great product managers almost delegate most of their overhead tasks so that they prepare their team as well as they free their time for more strategic and leverage based tasks, right?
Correct. No, I think see it's based on context as well. I work in a bootstrap startup where we always have low manpower, right? It generally don't have people with who are sitting idle. So for me, delegation is not really a big thing because I know people are really busy in my team. So it could be happening for other companies where people have a little bit uh, time to take on some other work. So yeah.
Hmm. So let's talk about example tasks, right? About the delegation. When we are saying at least small teams in the startups, right? Everybody is doing everything, almost all of the things. Delegation goes for a toss. I may have to do marketing as well as the integration as well as the defining the metrics to required to when I will see this. Maybe creating dashboards for presentations, a lot of things. Uh, some things like filling the requirements into a Jira ticket, right? Where the things will be utilized by the development team. I will be defining most of the things though. Um, do you think something like that can be delegated to the development team? The Jira ticket filling at least, creating a
I think
detailed task.
I think it's all context based. Can't
Okay.
really say
Yes.
which works best for the team. It's up to the
So,
team what to do.
in what case your development team can be used for or maybe we can actually give this task to the development team, the developers.
See, okay. I believe when the development team is smaller for that particular project, and the
Hmm.
requirements that you have written are well defined, they don't really need you anymore. And let's say only two or three developers are there to develop that feature, I
Right.
think then you can easily delegate it to them, and they can figure out how to add the Jira tickets,
Sure.
right?
Interesting. Um, so about this, do you have a, or maybe we can, take some time to figure out or find a presentation or sample tasks to discuss about this framework itself, or we can open a document and actually uh, uh, discuss that, or maybe actually literally find a talk by Shreyas and use that presentation from there and maybe present it right now. Like,
You have guessed it right. I have that presentation with me, and
perfect. I
I
mean,
can share and show. Obviously,
share
the slide. This is not a slide. It's just a screenshot taken by me to show how the task lists were actually prioritized.
will be
But
good
we can
enough to,
discuss that.
yeah. You have the option to present your screen, right?
Let's see. Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Please do so. If possible, we can tell later people. This is the part where you can find the sample exercise
Mhm.
also.
Sure. Okay. If you all can see my screen,
Uh, Not yet.
is it visible?
Wait, I'll add it to stream now, and I have it. Yes,
Okay.
perfect.
Okay. So
Yeah,
this is an edited version of Shreyas PPT. This is Shreyas task by the way.
right.
He put it out there. And so he mentions in his slides and presentation that as he is going in the more senior level of product management, right?
Mhm.
Uh, that will be best for him if he provides more, if he give more time to the strategic task, or planning a year long thing versus doing the nitty gritty task,
Yeah,
which can be different for everyone, every one of us listening here, right? So, but this is what he was discussing, and this is what we can talk about, right?
yeah.
So he has 24-month resourcing projections, detailed bug report, PRT, another PRT, and then a partnership meeting.
Hmm.
So five tasks are there before prioritization, but
Right.
with at least timelines like how much time it will take to resolve,
Expected time. Yeah.
right? Expected time. Now he says that for him, the great leverage is if he creates these two items, like prepare a partnership meeting with AT&T. This is
Hmm.
not something that any other PM can do, possibly. That's why he has put this on top, right? LNO, more like a leverage task.
Right.
This is a next gen messaging feature, which is a totally new functionality, and he has much more idea than anyone else, any other PM. So that's why he has put leverage on this task, right? Versus putting it on O. At first, I felt that he could have taken this part as a 24-month resource projection, but he says that this can wait a little, or it can take some time. So this too he put on L, like the most leveraged task. Then he puts the neutral task, which is completing another set of PRT and bug reports. And then at last, he puts an overhead task of resourcing projections. Right.
Hmm.
So that's how I think this model works.
Interesting. So what I see that the tasks have been tagged with the L, N, and O, the keywords, right? And each task has now been given better timeline, the expected time that it can take to finish a task, right? And now I can
Correct.
focus more on the more leveraged tasks.
Correct.
That's how. So I have this new activity in my, I would say, backlog, where I'm
Mhm.
actually trying to build a, I would say, project where I'm actually trying to sell toys on a basis on some. So I was talking about the education technology sector, right? Let's give it a second. I'll full screen that. Yeah. So I have some kind of to-do list in my head. Let's try to get there directly, right? Maybe we can, you can help me try to do that prioritization process, and we can do it live, right? Um,
Sure, definitely.
Give me
Let's
one
give it a
second.
try.
I'm happy to do this experiment. Where is that Notion page? Perfect. It will take a second. So I'll tell you the background in short to start with. When I was saying, I'm going to build this long-term project into education technology, right? Um, the mini, I don't have a toy right now in my with me, but assume there's a toy mini
Yeah.
standing with me, right? Now it's an AI-based system that will might take some long time to build. So today I have to start with limited resources. To be very specific, the financial support, right? So I'm starting with an MVP, or where I'll start somewhere, then let's see how it goes. So this project was something like 3 years down the line in my head that I will start somewhere. I don't know when I will start, but I will start someday in near future. That was it, something like that. Then what happened is that in recent duration when I was actually looking for opportunities, right? And even actually one more story from behind is that when my daughter was born, I created a YouTube channel in her name, Grow Up with Harita. So Harita is her name, and the actually interesting story about that was, so I needed a space to save the videos of the newborn because a phone gets filled up every day, right? Too many videos. Where do I save videos? Google drives, computer drives, they will fill up someday, right? I was like, I need a space to figure out this space problem. So I thought of saving videos on YouTube and keeping them on private so that, it is a jugaad. Let's say, I hope I will be able to save a lot of videos 10 years down the line forever, right? But it turns out that after doing it for some time, actually someone also scared me that YouTube might block you if you keep on saving videos on private forever. That's all, right? It might be also suspicious for them. So then I also thought, right, why not open up the videos for the industry? I will be more creative. I will for the people, right? My child is growing up. She's doing cute activities every day. Why not create videos and show it to the people also? Maybe have one more revenue stream from there. So it's been almost 1.5 years. I only have 380 98 subscribers for now. Though, so this is like just getting started. Not even uh, there, no revenue, but it's not zero. So I have learned. I've made a system to how to actually do it consistently. Now that is there. I have the channel right now with me. The point came in where I wanted to build the start with the selling toys in the name of Grow Up with Harita, maybe merchandise also, maybe books also, learning for kids and parents. I thought, why not do it now rather than doing it 3 years down the line or someday in near future? Let's do it today. I Let's say I have some time. I will, I have my family support where I can delegate some tasks. I can, get things done. Let's see how it goes. So I bought up this domain, growupwithharita.com. Now I have the project started. We are sitting on 4th of August, sorry, September. I few days back, 4 5 days back, I thought to give it a timeline. So I gave a dummy timeline to start this venture. On 15th of September, I thought to launch the first product of my business, right? Now I had to be very clear. So I started talking about what I will build, how I will sell, what I will sell. People started asking questions. I was like, interesting. So the first question was, how your toys are differentiating from other toys in the industry. How I am different. I did not think about that way. So though I knew I wanted to do that. So but when the question came in clearly, no, it's like a chat GPT prompt, right? When we have a prompt, we may get an answer. So I got a clear prompt that how do I differentiate? I started thinking about why I wanted to do this, and when I thought about it, I wanted to do it for learning purpose for kids. So I clubbed two existing products. So there will be a stuffed toy, like any elephant is the first my first toy. I'm going to literally procure it from the industry, which is available from 150 rupees somewhere in the industry. Like it's very common stuffed elephant, right? That's the first toy. Now, how do I differentiate this? I'm connecting that with the poem of the elephant. Two poems. I've copied two poems from somewhere. Now I'm supposed to design a booklet with the poem, with the elephant. So elephant, I will be selling the elephant with the booklet of the poem. So it will be like a. So there's a lot of learning behind that, because when my child was growing up from 6 months, right? I People don't give books to the kids, right? But somebody gave my child a book as a gift, and there were a lot of pictures in that. There were a lot of A to Z, right? There are a lot of pictures into that. And our Hindi alphabets, right? There were some stories as well as. So my child was like interestingly looking at flipping the pages and having fun with that, even when she was only 6 months old. And she's almost 2 years now. She recognizes a lot of pictures. She doesn't understand what is A for apple, for A, right? But she understands apple. And she, when we were eating apple, were looking at the book also. She was like having fun. And during those conversations, which she learned a lot. Now I'm coming to the point that reading the booklet from the poem from the booklet for the parent and playing with the toy, it will be a good connection rather than actually giving the phone to the kids to play around, right? Now I have a toy, I have a booklet with a poem. This is going to be a good connection to start with as an MVP of learning toys from my business of grow up with Harida, or long term picture of actually creating an AI based system. So that's my product. That's my first product. Let's say now I hope you can imagine what is my first product in the industry, right? How do I differentiate it is setup. What is my target audience is kind of very clearly defined now. Also that um, so target audience will be like the parents of early stage kids who could not cannot read, right? So maybe like 1 year to 3 year old child parents. That is my target audience. Where I will sell, I have bought this domain, although the grow up with harita.com. I will also, so there's another connection between my YouTube channel and this website. So I'm thinking of making content for selling the toys. And so the website is basically supposed to fuel the growth of the YouTube channel. And the YouTube channel is supposed to fuel the growth of the website also. So that's, I'm thinking of making it as system, right? Now I'll share my screen with the, let's say, the to-do list I want to create. I wanted to do it like this. I wanted to do it like this. I will share my screen. How do I do it? Extra slides. No. Screen. Can I choose the? Yes, I can choose. And here it is. Can you see my screen?
Yes, yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. Perfect. I'll zoom in also. Okay, Notion can zoom. So now I started with the current plan of 15 days goal, 15th of September, right? I created a to-do list. So I maybe you can also help me create a to-do list from here. So I know I'm missing a lot of things. This is not my complete focus. I'm spending like 30% of my time on this project.
Mhm.
Okay. Now, if I'll give some focus to this section, I will add some white space in there. Um, yeah. So this is the focus, right? 15 days goal. These are two activities I wanted to focus on. I need to create the build the website and put the product on the website. That's my first task.
Okay.
I have not done it on in the form of prioritization and LNO maybe, right. So I need to build the first product. I need to put it on the website. And what else? Actually, I need to design this product, right? So I have started getting into the design phase. So though doing the creating the to-do list right now sounds like a very weird thing. Design the booklet with the form. Now let's say there are three tasks,
Okay.
right? Building the website sounds like a overhead or necessary part. It's a necessary part, right? I will consider it as a neutral part, right? Um, Designing the product, let's say I will put it under this, and I will put it like add the product to multiple e-commerce platforms. So if I have to, this will be like an overhead because I may be able to get this done by somebody else also. And designing should seems like a very leverage based task because if it doesn't exist, right?
Correct.
So
So
now
I
if I have
think,
to yeah,
yeah, yeah. I think first of all, this is a like when we are building an MVP. First of all, we need to have the product. I mean, website and all, it will come later on because this is a
right,
physical product that you are trying to build.
right,
So
right.
first, you need to have some kind of the physical product. Otherwise, what will you even show in the website? Correct.
You're talking about the product itself,
Yeah, I mean, if it's a physical product, though, from what I've understood, like
right,
a leaflet, a book, let's say a leaflet of 2 page, a pamphlet, and
right.
the stuff toy,
Hmm.
right? So first we need to build that product, and then get into the website part. So
Right. You
so
might want to.
you said it right. The leverage part will be the first one. Design the booklet.
Hmm. Um, let's try to get into the details. So maybe bring your devil's advocate forward. Ask me some questions that there are some things that might be missing in this to-do list itself, right? So designing actually I'm doing it wrong. Designing the product and actually getting it printed, packaged it like the final product is going to be very difficult thing, right?
If you
Uh,
think that is difficult, then you should try doing that. If you think printing is not the part, just a mock-up to start with is fine.
hmm,
Like let's say you take 10 days delivery time for the product to
right,
be delivered.
right.
So then you can print it and whatever, like build the 3D form out of it.
Hmm,
But if you think the product should be handy, then
hmm.
you should build the physical product. But so by designing, I mean, first of all you need a digital design, then it will transform into a physical design, right? So
Makes
first we
sense.
need to build the digital design of this, whatever it is.
Okay, let's say I have to build the to-do list from scratch, maybe, right? Let's say I'm not doing it right. What would be the maybe you want to ignore all this current to-do list, right? I will create a toggle here, and if you are the product manager for this, you are the designer, you are the lead for this project. What would be your first step to create the to-do list, or would you like to ask some questions to figure out the readiness of this project or plan this project
So I think that the way that you mentioned, I have some idea, right? So I think the
before?
best would be to find out more about it. See, I think this kind of exercise is more better when you talk about building an MVP, right? How to
Right,
build an MVP.
right.
This that kind of thing right now won't do good
Does
because
not make sense. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
the topic is dividing a framework. What we can do is I have some tasks out here, like my to-do task for this week. What we can do, maybe go through that if that's possible. Like
Sure.
come
I
up
mean,
with the LNO structure of this week.
if you are okay with that, please
Yeah, let me just make sure the names and all are
take
redacted
your
from
time. Take your time.
yeah,
Uh, in the meantime, I will continue. Right. I will have some water also.
yeah.
Talking about water, I have a friend of mine who are also we are also building this new project also where the water bottle will be reminding people to drink water. It's another hardware product where
Hmm.
bottle has been integrated with some smart chips. There will be reminder system. There will be charging system also. Now, bottle is sitting in on your table, and it will blink like a table lamp, and it will tell you that it is time to drink water as per your availability. Sorry, requirement also. So maybe every half an hour, every hour, whatever you want. Uh, that's the product that's almost in the market. Is currently into building phase. It will take some time to come. It's called a drink pot. Yeah. So your list is ready. Are you waiting for me?
Uh, yeah, yeah, that sounds interesting. I think all the fitness freak people out there. They're like, "Okay, I need something like this to remind me to drink water."
Yeah. I understand. We understand the importance of this product in the industry.
Yeah,
People know that they need to drink a lot of water, and they forget.
correct. Okay, is it visible?
Wait a second. I think I will have to check that I can see it, and I'll add it to the stream. Yes, I can see it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have my this week's
To do list.
task list. This is just Monday getting started.
Sure.
Already have so much. So uh, I'll just give some basic outline or headline of what these things are. Be free is a product to design email contents. Right?
Yeah.
So for one email, I need to product create a template. For this project, I need to come up with the content of terms and conditions. Then I have some testing work. For the app, I need to test it, follow up with people, research about one thing, some graphics work, and then some another talk I need to read.
Sure.
Okay. So let's talk about one. Let's talk about LNO, right?
Mm,
So when I'm thinking of LNO, let's just say it in first, right? That as a person, I know what are my strengths, right, and how I bring uh, contribution to my team.
mm,
So I know that design is a strong suit of mine, along with follow up, like people management. So
mm.
design and people management is something I'm really good at. I mean, yeah, rest of the things come below it, right?
Right.
So the first thing I think that I will put up based on the things will be. So okay, let's go with the first thing. This is a design item, and how I'm deciding this, it's not like designers can do it. It's just that I'm more acquainted with the frameworks, templates that people need to use for this. So
Mm,
that's why I'm putting L for this, right?
sure.
Because if I am able to do it, it will take lesser time for me then to teach
Mm,
others, right? Terms and condition copy, there are other people who are good at writing copy, right,
mm,
in my team.
mm.
And it's all because of in my team. I can't
Mhm.
say this for anyone else, right?
It is
This
basically
is,
your context, right? Your team and your.
this is all my thing, how my team works. That's why I'm putting things. So I'm putting it in overhead because I know if it is possible, I'll delegate or I'll do it later.
Right.
Okay. Testing stuff. In terms of testing, I know credits is something that only I know better. So I'll put this as L. Rest all, I'll say neutral because testing is important, but I'll say wrapping up the credits part would be much more important for me.
Yeah.
Okay?
Okay.
So put N, L, and N for them. App testing, I think the whole team can do this, not something that only I need to do it, right?
Mm,
Uh, Follow up with the team. This is morely a very less effort item, so I'm putting it as O because this doesn't take much time for me. Okay. This is again another research item that I need to do. Although I think the designers, if they can do it, that will be good as well. So I'm putting it as N because you know I think yeah, designers can also do a good job. Of this. Follow up with SEO graphics. I think again and not a very big dent if we don't do it right away. This is something that this person K is waiting to hear back from me, right, for the last 1 week, and uh, no one else can do it, right? So I'll put this as a.
mm.
Any
Interesting.
questions on this?
Interesting. So now we have a very clear understanding of which is a leverage based task, which is a neutral task, and which is an overhead task.
Correct.
Hmm.
So put it L on top. This are N, so I'll just shift the O parts down, right? And
And I
N,
like also you are using OneNote, right?
yeah.
Great tool. It has one unique feature which is not there in any other systems. Would you like to guess? Maybe
What is
you
that?
know. Right. So I'll tell you. This is an interesting part about OneNote. It has a it has a password feature which you can set up, but you cannot ever forget to if you forget, you cannot reset that password.
Okay.
It has a feature that it clearly says that if you set up a password and you forget, you will never be able to reset. We will never be able to help you. So it's like a system that you can lock and you cannot open if you lose the key. You cannot break it. There's no way out. so, so I'm actually scared of using that feature because someday I will, whatever password that is, I will fail it. I will forget it. Right? So I know it is there and I'm not able to use it.
Right. No, I think my thing is like if I have a standalone tool, it's easy to open other than like Google Docs, Asana, anything.
Yeah,
It's already in the tab and the tab is like filled with things, so many tabs. So I just need something to clear my head out. And it has like this, multiple pages thing, so it's easy for me
right,
to work
right.
around.
It's an open thing like Notion itself, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So I can have multiple pages here and then multiple sub pages inside this, and I can simply do like this. So
Perfect,
my requirements are
perfect.
yeah.
So your to-do list categorization is done. Maybe you will be able to use it as per the, you'll be able to execute it as per the requirement, right? That's what it
Correct.
is.
Yeah. Yeah. Then I just put in the time taken for this, and then I decide which one to attack first.
Yeah, perfect.
So
So
yeah.
we did a simple, quick exercise. You want to talk more about this?
No, I think the gist of it
Basic
is that
enough,
you know
right? So
that do whatever do things not based on your liking but what the company needs, and that's
means
how you can make a impact in the company.
make it
Otherwise, it is hard.
makes sense. How do we actually add value? How do we leverage our skills to add value? How do we get things done and maybe help the team proceed to their next goals, right? That's what we do as a product managers, right? So I recently came up with this thought. So as a product manager, I would like to do everything I need to do so that the end user, the customer will find some value in the product we are building so that the company I'm working with will get some value.
Yeah, I think that's the gist of what product management role is. You need to do everything. People are talking about why are we calling you a project manager? Why are you calling me CEO? CEO is getting annoyed that why you are getting the title of CEO. Project manager is saying why my title is revoked. But I think at the end of the day, product manager needs to do anything that the customers will want, and eventually the business will get it.
Right.
We're not running an NGO. At the end of the day, business needs to make money. But yeah, what customers want, that's what we do.
About project, right? So I recently learned in last 2 3 years that everything technically is a project. Everything also is technically is an experiment. Also, nobody knows how it will
Yes,
go.
yes, yes,
So
yes,
we start with
definitely.
the goal, with the duration, how much we want to spend on that, and with the success metric, like how actually we want to figure out if it was successful or not, so that we
Yes.
will be able to iterate as per the data we get, right? Um, so 30, 40 days back when this project started, I just wanted to talk to people like myself on live camera. I wanted to create content. Then when so actually suddenly second day of announcing this project on LinkedIn, suddenly a CEO of some other organization, they said, if you actually want to interview people, on live camera? Why not interview for my JD for senior product manager role? That suddenly gave virality to my post. So too many people started to jump on this experiment, right? They wanted to interview for this role, for this company on live camera. I was like, okay, I'm excited. Let's see how it goes. But then people started taking step back. Most real serious product managers, right, did not want to interview on live camera. They did not want to make mistakes. They did not want to tell their stories in a way that everyone will be able to listen. It's like, I can understand. So I thought about that, right? uh, some questions like, why did you work with only 6 months with X organization with only 6 months, right? Why did you jump from that organization from that organization? Or it's like, some particular project, right? Why did you something that you did in a way, in that particular way, right? I may not have a clear answer on that split of a second, right? So it can be a mistake, but I'm okay with that. So it's some as a product manager, right? I am a curious person. I'm okay to make mistakes, but I want to do it in the most authentic way I can. It's like I don't even try to prepare for interviews. It's like rather than cramming questions, I be more myself. I don't know how to do this, but I will be able to figure it out when required. Cramming a framework, let's say LNO is the first time I got this right. I don't know where I will be able to use it, but I know the concept. That's okay. That's the If I know the concept, that's okay. But even if I don't know the concept, right, I should be able to ask the right questions. That's what is my core skill. That's how I picture. I design. I picture depict myself in the front of everyone I can. I have got to time to. So I think we can conclude. Maybe it's been 1 hour and 2 minutes almost. Huh? So we learned, just to conclude, we learned the LNO framework, the leverage, neutral, and overhead as a concept. We went through a couple of examples and we did exercises. And I hope we did some justice to the original master of design who has been talking about this concept since very long time. Um, that's all about it. We will back. I think I will be able to come back with a new concept with a new expert who can explain that in a much better way. Some new concept, maybe some near future. If somebody finds it useful, they want to join this platform someday. There's a link to book this session right from Calendly. And that's all. That's me, Hariom, and that's me. That's Tanmay. Thanks, Tanmay. Thanks for joining, and thanks for taking time to explain this concept.
Thanks
Perfect.
a lot, Hari. Yeah, appreciate it for
Perfect.
taking time. Awesome.
See you
Thanks
all.
everyone for listening as well.
Yeah. Bye. Good day. Have fun, guys.